Thank you for that. It's too bad Marchuk's not on because this next sugya, it's a Friday, of course, but this is like the from the biggest sugyas in Bava Kamma. All right, it'll take us tomorrow tonight. Today's daf.
Mint is in 15 minutes. No.
No, 25 minutes.
Yeah.
No.
Why 420? Not 425.
By me, it's 9 minutes.
4:15.
9 minutes. Where do you daven
4:15.
mincha, Jesse?
The minion on Jarvis.
They daven mincha 10 minutes.
Lach bench is 13. They daven 5 minutes after lach bench. No.
I'm at 425, so I got plenty of time.
Why don't we not argue about it and do the daf?
That's right. Yeah.
Stop talking sense.
Anyways, so the shaila is when you chayiv, the Torah is mechayiv you for fire, right? That if you send out your fire, then then even though it's not you, but the fire travels, but your chayiv Aish is one of the Avos Nezikin. So the question is how does it work? Right? We discussed it a couple of days ago, but Itmar, let's see, Itmar. Fire works just like an arrow, right? And just like somebody could pick up an arrow, the owner of the arrows, and somebody takes an arrow or a knife. Let's go with a knife, and he kills somebody with the knife, or he kills an animal with the knife. So the owner of the knife is not chayiv, right? It's the guy who took it. So memela, that's what it's saying. Esha is because of chitzav, right? No, it's Esha is because it's like his money, right? So therefore, if somebody takes your fire, and because you were irresponsible with your fire, so then you are going to be chayiv for that issue, right? Somebody takes your
why are you irresponsible?
Well, if you were,
who said you're irresponsible? No.
If you're irresponsible with the fire, then you're going to be chayiv. If you were not irresponsible, you're not going to be chayiv. But meaning, if somebody
guy came and lit a fire from my fire, that makes me
that's a different. No, lighting a fire from your fire.
Why am I irresponsible?
Lighting a fire from your fire is not this. The guy takes your fire. You
leave so he took my fire. No,
so that's what he's saying. Esha, if you say it's mamaynai, and you were irresponsible with your fire, then you're going to be liable. Masha Enkin, if you hold it's mishum chitza, then it's not. Right? The nafkamina read, Rashi says that the difference between the fourth line down, Rashi says, if a guy lights a fire with a coal that doesn't belong to him, right? So according to Rav Yochanan, he's going to be chayiv because it's considered his arrow. And according to Rish Lakish, he's potter because it's not his money, right? It wasn't his thing. Yeah. So again, we're saying that the if you hold Eisha Mishum, what? If you say Eisha Mishum Chitza, then the fire is coming from it's an extension of you. Yeah. So Rabbi Yochanan holds that's the Eisha is Mishum Chitza, right? It's no different than your arrow, right? And Rish Lakish says no, it's no different than your shar. Yeah, so okay, so Rish Lakish my time alone with Rabbi Yochanan. Rish Lakish, how come you don't say like Rabbi Yochanan? An arrow goes from your koyach. You shoot an arrow, and it's gonna once your koyach is done, it stops traveling. Kozman that it travels, that's from you. But fire doesn't go from you; it goes by itself. Right, so therefore you can't say that it's chitza, right? Rabbi Yochanan, my time, how come Rabbi Yochanan doesn't want to say it's your money, right? So Amrullah, mamayne isbe mamasha, ha less be mamasha. Money has something to meaning. Money doesn't mean money; it means what you own, your shar, your chamor, all these things. That is something tangible. This does not have fire; has nothing tangible to it. So that's the machlokes. Okay. So now the Gemara goes through a bunch of different kashas. Tanan hakelef. So then the famous thing to know from this, and it's because I had to stop for a minute. We discussed it, but the Nemuke Yosef here, which is there's no ran on Bava Kamma. So there's Nemuke Yosef, who's the Pirush on the Rif. So he says, okay, So if Eisha is Mishum Chitzov, it's like your arrow, so that when your fire gets taken, and it's as if it's coming from you. So now, how can you go light? Now it's Blichbenchen, right? So how do you go light a candle and let it light a whole Shabbos? That means you're doing malacha the entire Shabbos. That's in Nemuka Yosef, famous kasha in Nemuka Yosef, right? Meaning, if you're saying that if you take your fire and you make a campfire outside your house, and then that fire goes and travels, or somebody else takes that fire and transports it, it's going to be your responsibility. So then, okay, so then you're making fire on Shabbos. Even though you lit it before Shabbos, you're making fire on Shabbos.
Is that the same thing with your cholent?
You'd have to say, yeah, if you say your cholent is like Aish, if you say electricity is like Aish, then yeah, then it would be, yeah, 100%. So the basic teretz is that damages and damages is one thing, and doing it for not necessarily a mitzvah, but just that fire was lit before and it's just sitting there lit without traveling anywhere are two different things. So that's one. Okay, it's Friday, so
Yosef's Rebbe should always won. He says, "You're the biggest Talmud Chacham in the city. How come you only have 11 people in your minyan?" Yeah,
because he didn't have lights on. He's saying
No, because they didn't serve cholent.
yeah, no kugel or trouble. No.
I thought you were. Okay, I thought you were saying there's no lights in this show because
There's a Chazanishnika.
Yeah, right. Very good. Yeah. So anyway, so that's the famous kasha. Fine. So Tanan, and then okay, like we said, it ties into Hanukkah, right? Because when are you lighting your menorah? You're lighting in the right time. Did you have to? Does the hadlaka is a mitzvah? The anocha is a mitzvah? Fine. So Zok the Gemara. Tanan akelef shenot charora. So remember we had this case. A dog comes and steals a piece of cake or whatever that has a coal next to it. He goes and puts it down on a pile of grain and burns down everything. So he's got two issues here. He's got the issue with the cake, and he's got an issue with the grain. Right? So we said that he's chayiv nezek shalim on the cake and chatzi nezek on the grain. So bisham l'mandam re'ishim mishum chitzav, that the fire is because of his arrow, so chitzav the kelev. Right? So this is the chitzav. Who brought this fire? The fire belongs to the dog. So that's why you chayiv. But if you say that fire is a problem of it's your money, it's your property, right? Who owns the fire? Right? The dog owner does not own the fire. The owner of the fire owns the fire. So why should the owner of the dog be chayiv? Right? Again, if it's mammon, if it's your money, so then why the dog took your knife, right? Meaning a guy leaves out a knife. A dog comes and takes the knife and he injures somebody. So you're going to say that the dog is chayiv or the owner of the knife is chayiv? So it sounds like the owner of the knife should be, even though this Mishnah says the owner of the dog. It's talking about where he threw it. This case is talking about where the dog threw the cake with the coal on it. The al charara mishalim nezek shalim. On the charara, he pays nezek shalim, right? Because it's shame. He ruined the charara. V'almakam gacheles mishalim chatzi nezek. And on the gacheles, he has to pay chatzi nezek because that's tzroiris. Like that's a good old tzroiris, right? Val Godish, Kula Potter. And on the Godish, he's totally Potter, because according to Rish Lakish, it's not Eshem Mishum Chitza. Right? So therefore, it's too far removed. So that's the way Rish Lakish is going to say it. Rabbi Yochanan, it's talking about where he put down the charara. So when it says that he has to pay nezek shalim, that's going on the actual place that he put down the thing, right? And on the Godish he pays chatzi nezek, right? So and what about the charara? He's not going to have to, right? He's not going to pay for the charara. Okay, so Tashima. Another case, Gomel. Now this plays into Chanukah. Gomel, Ton Pishton, Bava B'Shusarav. If the camel is loaded up with flax, And right, this is in the Gemara and Shabbos for the Chanukah Gemaras. If it's loaded up with flax and he's passing through Rosh Hashanah, meaning he overloaded his camel. So then when he's walking by a guy's store, so some of the flax went into the doorway, and then it went, and the flax got lit up by the fire of the store owner that the store owner was using to light up his store. The Hidlakas Abira, and then it blew up the whole building, right? The whole building went on fire. So Baal Gomel Chayiv. Who's Chayiv? The Baal Gomel, right? Because he overloaded his camel, and the flax should not have made it inside the store of the owner. So, but if the store owner, for whatever reason, lit a candle outside on the street, he's not supposed to do that, then the Chenveni is Chayiv. Rabbi Yehuda Aimer, Ner Chanukah Potter, but if it's Ner Chanukah, it's Potter. Why? Because he's in Ner Chanukah, he's supposed to light outside. So he was doing it for a good reason. So therefore, he's going to be Potter, which is a whole different story there. Why should it be Potter? Maybe he put in an irresponsible place. That's a whole different sugya. Okay, but that's the case. Again, if the candle was inside the store, the owner of the camel was Chayiv. If the candle was outside of the store, if it wasn't Chanukah, then the store owner is Chayiv. So now,
that's a Mishnah later on. No, that case is a Mishnah. It's the only place that Chanukah is mentioned.
It's a brisa. It's a brisa. Right? No, it's a Mishnah. You're right. No, it is a Mishnah. Tashma is not only a brisa. It's a Mishnah later on. Correct. That's yes. Naftali is pointing out that that's the only place that Chanukah is mentioned in Mishnayos. Right. So, anyways, so Bishlam Lamandam Eshim Mishum Chitza of the Gomalu. It's the arrow of the camel. But according to the mandam, it says Maman High Eish Lab Mamayna the Bal Gomal. Who isn't this? I'm sorry, High Eish Lab Mamayna the Bal Gomal. The fire doesn't belong to the Bal Gomal, so why is he Chayiv? Right. Again, if you hold that the one liable is for the one that owns the Eish, so the camel owner doesn't own the Eish. It's talking about where it didn't just light, the flax didn't light up and then from there it spread. This camel was walking and it dragged the fire with it going all over the place. Right? So Mamela, that's considered like he adopted the fire. And Mamela, the fire became his. That's the easiest way to understand it. But then the word says, okay, so if the animals dragged it all over the place, then what do you do at the end of the Mishnah? If you put the chenveni outside, chenveni chayiv. I'm sorry, not to put the chenveni. If the chenveni put the light outside, the chenveni is chayiv. Even if he put the light outside. Right, but this camel came with the flax and spread it out all over the place. That shouldn't be the responsibility of the store owner. So we say b'shamda. The way he did it was by standing, meaning the camel didn't move back and forth in front of the store and spread the fire. It's what it did is it stood there, right, and then it was so loaded up that it got spread all over the place. So the Gemara says amda v'sichsacha kol shekain the chenveni potter. Right? If it got put all over the place, then kol shekain, right? Meaning the kol shekain the chenveni potter or bal gomel chayiv. Then for sure the chenveni. Again, if it was standing in one place, right, and if the fire was spreading, then what did the chenveni do wrong? The Baal Gomel should have made sure that the fire doesn't spread. Right? Meaning once he saw that the flax went on fire, he should have pulled the camel away. No, it's talking about where the animals stop to go to the bathroom, stop to urinate. Right? So once that animal is urinating, then you can't move it. So Mamela, he was an einus on that.
Gershon, you can't make this up. Bar Manoach, my one who stands still.
I don't know. We don't really. Does anybody know how a camel urinates?
I was going to ask that.
Yeah, they stand still.
What? That's
They
Clearly,
do.
they
They
can't
stand still.
multitask.
It's not like
Clearly, they can't
like maybe
multitask.
it lifts a leg or something, like a dog or something. That we put the fire out from the bunny.
No,
That's
it
your
doesn't.
department, Rachman. You're asking us?
It's probably like horses or like any other animals that are like that. Standing up, I believe.
I don't know.
No, but
Maybe it doesn't like to get wet.
the shaila is it enough of an einus, right?
Okay.
Huh?
That's a wild case. Okay, fine. It only stood still. That's the moment that it still stood. And the Baal
Good.
Gamel is chayav because what? He should have made her go to the bathroom before they carried the flax. The Baal Gamel is chayav here, right?
What?
Who's chayav over here? Who's chayav? The Baal Gamel?
No, the chenveni.
Well, maybe the Baal
It depends.
Gamel
Depends where the candle is.
But so no, we're talking about the candles outside. So we want to say the Bala Abir is Bala the Chanvani's chayav, right? So then when you tell me that, now you tell me maybe the camel should be chayav because the camel was standing still at that point. So maybe the Bala Gamli, he should have made his camel go to the bathroom before he loaded it up. Maybe
You gotta go when you gotta go when you gotta go. You can't say that.
Okay.
Okay,
Mute.
Okay, but the point is, has to be that you can't budget, right? But anyways, so where do we leave off here? So on the bottom, so right? So on Talmud Beis now, Reisha Bal Gomel Chayiv D'Lo Yibayil Lefusha Bedina. And the Reisha, the owner of the camel, is chayiv, to answer your question, Rachman, because he shouldn't have loaded it up so big. Seifa Chenveni Chayiv D'Lo Yibayil Lanuchin Erem Avroi, and the Seifa is the Chenveni is chayiv because he shouldn't have left it on the outside. So basically, the camel can't move, and that's the issue, right? So fine. Yeah, fine. So Toshima, Hamadik is a Godish, somebody who lit a Godish, what do you call it? A pile of grain. The Hayagidi Kofas like. The Eved Samachloi. So there's two cases here. The goat was tied up to the pile, right? So it couldn't move. And the Eved was next to it, the Nisr Vima, and they both got burnt with it. So Chayiv. So the guy who made the fire is chayiv. But what of the opposite? Eved kafas loy. The Eved was tied up, and Gedi samach loy v'nisr v'imay, and the Gedi was close to it and he's burnt with it. It's potter. Now, why is he potter? He tied up the Eved. So the reason is because he's chayiv misa for tying up the Eved. So once you're chayiv misa, so then you're potter for payments because of kamle b'deramim, where you only give him the stronger punishment, right? So when the first case, when the Eved was close to it, the Eved should have run away. You're not chayiv misa. You're not getting the tzaddik get a year award, but you're not chayiv misa, right? But the second case, you're chayiv misa, and the Gedi either way is not an issue because the Gedi doesn't have the brains to run away. So the Gedi really stays the same in both cases. So bishlam l'mandam isha mishum chitza mishum hachi potter. That's why you're potter, right? Right, because it's all part of it's kamle b'deramim, because the whole thing was done by the guy who lit the fire. But if you say is because of mom and my potter, why is it potter? Ilu katal ture avda hachanami d'lo mechayev. If somebody's shar kills somebody, right, you pay kaifer, but you're not chayev misa. So if you say that eish is like your belongings, so then you shouldn't be chayev misa, right? So Amalach, Rabbi Shimon Ben Lakish asking because she hits us begufay shel. It's not talking about where you lit up the pile of grain. It's talking about where you lit the Eved on fire, right? So the kam lever deramine, because then there's mamish kam lever deramine. Okay, so God says ihachi ma'ila. What's your chiddush? Of course, if a guy kills an Eved with a fire puts him on fire, then of course he's going to be potter on the Godish. So like big dechad ve'Eved dechad. No, it's talking about where the goat belonged to one person and the Eved belonged to another person. So you would think maybe you only say Kamma Midrabimine when both Averas were done on the same person. But if they were not done on the same person, one was on one was on the other, maybe you'd be chayiv. So then Kamash Malon, that the chiddush is that you do, that you're not chayiv. Okay. I guess we stop there. We'll finish it off Motzei Shabbos. All right. Olam should have a good Shabbos. We should have.
I know Jesse logged off, but I'll see him on Motzei Shabbos.
That's right. That's right. The Avos Ubanim people, beware.
I don't know if I'm gonna sleep tonight.
Motzei Shabbos 8:30.
No, 7:45. 7:45.
No, we said 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock.
We said 8 or 8 or
I
7:45.
believe the chat says 8 o'clock.
Okay.
8
I want
o'clock.
to check it. 8 o'clock. Oh
Oh,
yeah,
good
we said 8
Shabbos.
o'clock. Okay, 8 o'clock.
Good
Good.
Shabbos,
Okay.
yeah, good Shabbos.
All right.
Stuff says 8
Shabbos.
o'clock. We could change it still.
No, it's
no.
fine. 8
right now.
o'clock is
8
good.
o'clock
That's
is
it.
Eight o'clock is
Nimru
good.
v'gamru.
Hello.
Nimru
Yes.
v'gamru.
8 o'clock is good. Shkoyach, good Shabbos.
Shkoyach, have a good Shabbos.
You're muted, Rabbi.
I said, Yoni, enjoy that warmth.
No.
Have a good Shabbos.
All right.
You have no idea. It's 79 degrees right now.